Buenos dias. Good morning. Our story today that I have to read for you is called Los Tres Pequeños Jabalies, the Three Little Javelinas. It says, once upon a time, way out in the desert, there were tres pequeños javelinas. Javelinas are wild, hairy, southwestern cousins of pigs. Kind of look like pigs. Their heads were very hairy, their backs were very hairy, and their bony legs, all the way down to their hard little hooves, were very, very hairy. But their snouts were soft and pink. That's their nose. You can see they have pink noses. One day, the three little javelinos trotted away to seek their fortunes. In this hot, dry land, the sky was almost always blue. Steep purple mountains looked down on the desert where the cactus forest grew. Soon the little javelinas came to a spot where the path divided, and each one went a different way. The first little javelina wandered lazily along. He didn't see a dust storm whirling across the desert until it caught him. The whirlwind blew away and left the first little javelina sitting in a heap of tumbleweeds. That's these things right here. It's kind of like weeds in your house. Brushing himself off, he said, "I'll build a house with them." And in no time at all, he did. So it didn't take him very long. That was an easy house to build. And there's his mailbox. It says number 1 Tumbleweed Avenue. Then along came a coyote. He ran through the desert so quickly and so quietly that he was almost invisible. It means they couldn't even see him. He's hiding down here. In fact, this was only one of Coyote's many magical tricks. He laughed when he saw the tumbleweed house and smelled the javelina inside. A tender, juicy pig, he thought. Coyote was tired of eating only mice and rabbits. I wonder what he's going to do. He called out sweetly, little pig, let me come in." "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," shouted the first javelina, who had a lot of hair on his chinny chin chin, because those pigs were so hairy. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said the coyote. Oh, there he is. He's huffing and puffing. And he huffed and he puffed and he blew the little tumbleweed house away. But in all the hullabaloo, the first little javelina escaped. He went looking for his brother and sister. Coyote, who was very sneaky, tiptoed along behind him. He's going to follow that pig. I wonder where he'll go. Ooh, you can see the sun out. This pig looks like he's very hot. The second little javelina walked for miles along giant cactus plants called saguaros. They held their ripe red fruit high in the sky, but they made almost no shade, and the little javelina grew hot. Then he came upon a Native American woman who was gathering sticks from inside a dried-up cactus. She planned to use these sticks, called saguaro ribs, to knock down the sweet cactus fruit. And there, she's got her sticks right there. The second little javelina said, "Please, may I have some sticks to build a house?" "How," she said, which means yes in the language of the desert people. So this one's decided to use his house making sticks. I wonder if it will stand up better than the tumbleweed house. When he was finished building his house, he lay down in the shade. Then his brother arrived, panting from the heat, and the second little javelina moved over and made a place for him. Ooh, they're so tired, so it looks like they're going to rest. Pretty soon, Coyote found the saguaro rib house. He used his magic to make his voice sound just like another javelina's. Little pig, let me come in," he called. But the little javelinas were suspicious. The second one cried, "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Ah," thought Coyote, "I'm not going to eat your hair." Then Coyote smiled, showing all his sharp teeth. "I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed, and all the saguaro ribs came tumbling down. But the two little javelinas escaped into the desert. Oh, they got away. Look, they're running very quickly. Still not discouraged, Coyote followed. Sometimes his magic did fail, but then he usually came up with another trick. He's very sneaky. You can see he's hiding behind this big tall cactus. I think he's going to follow these ones too. The third little jabalina trotted through beautiful palo verde trees with green trunks and yellow flowers. A hawk floated around above her. Then she came to a place where a man was making adobe bricks from mud and straw. These are his bricks. They look like they're very strong. The bricks lay on the ground, baking in the hot sun. The third little jabalina thought for a moment and said, "May I please have a few of these adobes to build a house?" "Sí," answered the man, which means yes in Spanish, the brickmaker's language. So this one's decided to build a house out of adobe bricks. So the third little jabalina built herself a solid little adobe house, cool in summer and warm in winter. When her brothers found her, she welcomed them in and locked the door behind them. Coyote followed their trail. Coyote's sneaking up and he's going to find them. I wonder what will happen next. I wonder if her house will be strong enough. Little pig, let me come in," he called. The three little javalinas looked out the window. This time Coyote pretended to be very old and weak, with no teeth and a sore paw. But they were not fooled. He's trying to trick them right there. He's pretending to be very old and sick. "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," called the third little javalina. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said Coyote. He grinned, thinking the wild pig dinner to come. "Just try it," shouted the third little javalina. So Coyote huffed and puffed, but the adobe bricks did not budge. Again Coyote tried. "I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." The three little javalinas covered their hairy ears, but nothing happened. The javalinas peeked out the window. Seems like that house was too strong. He wasn't able to blow it over. The tip of Coyote's raggedy tail whisked right past their noses. He was climbing up on the tin roof. Next, Coyote used his magic to make himself very skinny. "The stovepipe!" gasped the third little javalina. Quickly, she lighted a fire inside her wood stove. There's her stove in her house. It looks like that Coyote is trying to sneak down into her house, right through the chimney. "What a feast it will be," Coyote said to himself. He squeezed into the stovepipe. "I think I'll eat them with a red-hot chili sauce." Whoosh! Sizzle! Oh, what do you think happened? Then the three little javalinas heard an amazing noise. It was not a bark. It was not a cackle. It was not a howl. It was not a scream. It was all those sounds together. The yip, yap, yeep, yow! Away ran a puff of smoke shaped like a coyote. He must have gotten very burned when he went down that stove. It was super hot. That was a pretty smart idea that the pig had. The three little javalinas lived happily ever after in the adobe house. And if you ever hear Coyote's voice way out in the desert at night, well, you know what he's remembering. And there's the coyote. He's probably thinking about how much that hurt when he fell on the fire. The end.